What's up, my dudes? Valkyrja, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the strongest constellation in Genshin Impact. My goal today, I don't even know how this is going to go, but my goal today is to find out the strongest constellation from every character in the game. Now, this is going to be very opinion-based, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to have this video very chopped up, but I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to be looking at every constellation through every character, and I'm going to be trying to pick the strongest. Now there are some that I want to let you guys know I'm not going to be picking because you guys are going to be like, oh, he's just going to pick Xiao C6 or Raiden C2. While Xiao C6 is good, there is a lot of really strong C6s. And I'm trying to think of the overall best constellation, which means Xiao C6, if having that giant negative downside that he has to hit at least 2 opponents, kind of takes it out of the running. And Raiden's C2, while it is insanely powerful, it is so good because it's C2 and not a C6. I want to find the strongest constellation today, and this will not be it, because it is a C2 and some characters have insanely broken C6s. The first one that comes to mind that's just crazy broken is the Luke's. After casting Searing Onslaught, the next 2 normal attacks will have for the next 6 seconds, will have their damage and attack speed increased by 30%. Additionally, his E will no longer interrupt the normal attack combo, allowing you to get into the better scaling, so you can have the 4-hit, 246% damage, and you have better animation canceling. This is a very, very powerful C6. I doubt it will be one of the best ones, but let's go ahead, let's get into it. There'll be a bunch of skips. Basically, like I said, I'm going to be recording, going through, reading all of them, and then editing this video. And just anytime I see something notable, I'll make sure to include it in the video. Anyways, let's go ahead, let's get into it. So first off, we have Amber, and obviously Amber's constellations, nothing here is special. See, this is a really, really good one. This is an insanely good one if it was on a normal, like, damage carry, but it's, nah. If this wasn't once every 15 minutes, I actually would consider this as one of the strongest constellations in the game. But that 15 minutes cooldown timer is really, it's super hurtful. Especially in Abyss. An Abyss run, like, what are you going to do? Sit there and wait for it to come off cooldown for 15 minutes? Like, no, you want to go, right? So, that's definitely, that's not it. Alright, this constellation is super overpowered for ways that are really kind of hard to explain. So, basically, what Bido's ult naturally does is it just jumps and it bounces around. It's like a lightning zap, right? The dragons, the little AIDS dragons, jump to somebody and then they jump to somebody else. Now it can arc up to 2 additional targets. I think she can send out 2 or 3 dragons at a time, meaning you throw Bido in a taser comp, you have her dragons jumping around, you have taser jumping around. It is a very, very powerful constellation. I don't think it's going to be the strongest though. This actually is in contention for one of the strongest constellations in the game because it turns Fischl from a very, very middled to not that good off-field DPS to one of the best off-field DPSs in the game, to where Oz genuinely deals a good amount of damage. So this is actually might be in contention for one of the strongest constellations. It's one of the strongest I've seen out of all the 4 stars. Since we're almost through the 4 stars, this is up there. So this is actually an insane constellation. This is why Noelle, being Noelle and being the cracked Noelle that you've always heard me spew about, is locked behind C6, because Noelle is not Noelle until you get this constellation. Increases her attack by an additional 50% of her defense. Additionally, every opponent defeated during the skill's duration adds 1 second to the duration, up to 10 seconds. That is a 10-second additional uptime of the ult. And if you look, duration naturally is 15 seconds with a 15-second cooldown, meaning Noelle literally turns into a one-made army. You need that constellation for Noelle to be Noelle. Not, like I said, 50% additional... 50% of her defense to attack can be up to like 1,500 extra attack. This is actually in contention for one of the strongest constellations in the game. Must Be Spotless is an insane constellation. So, Chi-Chi's, once again, just like Barbara's, is an insanely good constellation. Revives all fallen party members nearby and regenerates 50% of their HP whenever she uses her ult. If your entire team is dead and then you pop ult with Chi-Chi, they're no longer dead, they're at 50%. And then with Chi-Chi, you get the full healed essentially. Very, very powerful, but that 15-minute lockout is very, very bad. Just like punting it off the cliff of any type of contention into this list. This constellation always just makes me laugh. It's Klee leaving the field. Whenever she leaves this field, a big explosion happens and hits her constellation 4. It's C4. Get it? C4. Alright, so Child's giving him 100% uptime of everything would be fantastic if he wasn't so reliant on AoE to actually be able to deal this insane damage. But this is a very powerful constellation, because could you imagine if, like, I don't know, any other character had something like this? Characters that had very powerful skills that have long lockouts, especially with Child having up to like I think it's like up to a 42-second lockout that he can have with his skill, and this just completely allowing you to ignore it. I've seen certain content creators, I've seen Tectone, just run around Child and melee stance, walk up, ult an enemy, and then reset the melee stance. Because he just walks around the open world Child and melee stance, and it hurt me as somebody that uses C0 Child. It physically hurt me watching him do it. That's how good that C6 is. It allows you to do things like that. Okay, Zhongli's is decent. A lot of times you take too much damage, and plus it's really hard to break Zhongli's shield to begin with. But it's a pretty good one. If we had more challenging content, or if it can block tick damage, it can actually keep you pretty full health, and it condenses roles to where Zhongli becomes a shielder and a healer. This makes Zhongli kind of like the ultimate unit. It's a pretty damn good constellation, but I don't think it would be top. All right, now this one is in serious contention for one of the best constellations in the game. It literally gives you God mode. Whenever you drop below 25% HP, gives you 100% crit rate, increases all of your resistance to any type of damage by 200%, and you get resistance interruption. If this was on a, it is on the main DPS, and whenever she does go into this phase, she is just, I've seen her solo the mechanical array and doing like 80k charge attacks easily. I've seen people build around this. It can only occur once every 60 seconds, but realistically, 60 seconds is a lot. It's something that, odds are something is going to die whenever you're in this. Whenever you are in this little phase, something is going to die, and you're going to be fine, because it is such a powerful buff. This is an insane constellation, and it's definitely in contention. This is definitely one of the best constellations in the game. So, Eula's constellation. The constellation itself is not that amazing, but what it gives access to is. This is the constellation that gives a difference between like a 200% multiplier and a 7,000% multiplier. Well, not 2,000% multiplier versus like a 7,000% multiplier. This is the constellation that lets you do some of the biggest single hits in the game because of how it works, and it is just a super cracked constellation. It's definitely up there. I don't know. Right now, like I said before, I'm leaning on Hu Tao. Hu Tao's C6 might be the best one, but this is definitely giving it competition because this is such a strong C6. I know from personal experience, this C6 is a huge difference maker. It is a very, very strong Constellation 6. Now, Aloy's Constellation has to be, her C6 has to be the absolute best C6 in the game. The time has not yet come for this person's corner of the night sky to light up. Absolutely amazing constellation. I can't believe anybody would even argue that this is the best one. So Raiden C2, like I said before, I'll mention it again inside the video while I'm talking about it, while I'm looking at it. It's good because it's a C2. It is very powerful, but I don't think it stacks up to something like Hu Tao's C6 or Eula's C6. And I don't think her C6, while the utility focus of it is insane, especially with somebody like Yai Miko, it's why I probably have a better play experience with Yai Miko than most people, because I have Raiden C6. Her C6 is incredibly valuable in very specific situations, but it is not anywhere near the best C6 in the game. So, like I said at the very beginning of the video, if you think I'm just going to put my bias and just throw my favorite character C6 up there or anything like that, you're probably wrong, because I'm trying to give this a very genuine take. So here is another wackadoo insane C6. Arataki Ito's charge attacks deal plus 70% crit damage. Additionally, when he uses Arataki Kisagari, he has a 50% chance not to consume stacks of superlative strength, allowing him to use the crazy superlative strength multipliers over and over and over. You can see here, it's 90.5%. This is only level 1, and it's 20% more than his actual attacks, or 10% more than his actual attacks. And I'm sure the difference scales even more and more as the level goes up. That's insane, and it gives you plus 70% crit damage. That's an absolutely crazy C6. I don't know if it really matches Hu Tao's, because Hu Tao's also keeps you alive whenever you take a lethal hit, which is pretty valuable in case you make a mistake. You have that little fallback plan. So I don't think it matches it. I still want to lean on Hu Tao as the best constellation in the game, but it's a very, very strong one. So Shinha's C6. Now, while on the base, this does not look that impressive. This allows some of the craziest DPSs you've seen, like Cryo Zhongli, for example, is one I saw where he was doing 30k a normal. Remember how fast Zhongli attacks because of Shinha's Icy Quill effects. It actually enables a whole new playstyle. It is a very, very, very powerful C6. I would definitely consider it one of the best, but once again, I don't think it really compares with Hu Tao's. And Yai Miko's finally, at the very end, Yai Miko's is literally just right in C2. So yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and make all the Hu Tao mains happy out there and tell you guys she probably has the strongest constellation in the game at this. It just gives too much. 100% crit rate for 200 crit value. You take 0 damage because your elemental physical res goes up by 200%. You also can stop death. You can stop a lethal strike because this automatically stops you at 1 HP. It can occur only once every 60 seconds, but 60 seconds by the time you're done, if you have a C6 Hu Tao, odds are whatever you're fighting is dead because she is that strong. Any character is that strong at C6. But the amount of value you get out of this, it is a trigger on death, so you get to save yourself from dying. If you make a mistake, if you oof every now and then and get hit by something you shouldn't, you're still alive, and you deal crazy damage right after. So it is insanely good. Insanely good. And Hu Tao will not fall as a result of damage sustained, which means she cannot die for 10 seconds, allowing you time to get cooldowns up, get your ult up, use your ult to heal for 50%, because that's how Hu Tao works. In my opinion, Hu Tao's C6 is the single best constellation in the game, and I've sat here and gone through every last one of them. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me or disagree with me? Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.